to a T. I mean, very well. It wasn't until she started to make her positions clear and continuously play the victim from the palace.
Meghan had the charm, Harry had the title, and together they projected the perfect image of a royal couple who had broken away from centuries of tradition to build their own fairy tale. But as always, the cracks began to show. Meghan positioned herself as the victim of palace politics, playing the card over and over again until the narrative became more about drama than duty. Grab your teacups because what's brewing now might just be the most jaw-dropping rumor yet. Forget about Netflix documentaries or podcast flops. This is the kind of story that makes the internet stop in its tracks. Whispers are growing louder than Meghan's PR machine after 3 cups of coffee, and this time the speculation is focused on something far more personal. Reports claim Meghan Markle has a secret daughter. Imagine it, not a child hidden away in plain sight, but a grown woman, allegedly tucked out of view, erased from the public record like she never existed. And now, with stories spreading like wildfire, Prince Harry is said to be in tears. It all started innocently enough with some grainy old photos from Meghan's pre-suits, pre-palace days, the kind of snapshots you'd expect to see floating around from the early 2000s, dim lighting, low-rise jeans, heavy eyeliner. At first, people assumed it was just another attempt to dig up her party girl past. But then came the twist. In the background of those photos, sharp-eyed internet sleuths noticed a recurring face. A young girl, always present, always just out of focus, yet uncannily familiar. Same almond-shaped eyes, same lopsided smile, even the trademark Markle smirk. That was enough to send online investigators into overdrive. Old modeling rosters, backstage suits photos, dusty MySpace pages, nothing was off limits. What they dug up was startling. Cryptic references to a baby girl, offhand comments in long-forgotten emails, and even a 2007 interview where Meghan casually hinted she sometimes already felt like a mother. At first, it could have been brushed off as metaphor, but paired with the photos, the story took on a darker edge. Before long, tabloids were plastering headlines like "Markle's secret daughter" and "Royal scandal explodes" across their front pages. The chaos only intensified when Meghan's old acquaintance, a woman we'll call Cassie, stepped forward with her own claims. According to her, Meghan once admitted to making choices when she was younger that she wanted to keep locked away, terrified the truth would surface and destroy her carefully built image. Cassie claimed Meghan dreaded the idea of becoming a global name only to have a skeleton dragged out of her closet. If Cassie's version is to be believed, Meghan feared the press would dig it up once she had her sights set on Harry, and the fresh-faced feminist fairy tale would crumble instantly. While the rumor mill spun, Harry was reportedly left shaken. This is the same man who walked away from the royal family, forfeiting titles, wealth, and tradition to protect his wife and children. Imagine him learning that maybe he didn't even know the full truth about the family he sacrificed everything for. Reports claim he shut himself away, locking himself into what was described as a meditation room, but which many suspect was little more than a panic room dressed up with scented candles and sage. Insiders whispered he sobbed, pacing, demanding answers. And the harder Meghan's team worked to kill the rumor, the louder it grew. Then came the anonymous Instagram account, calling itself The Forgotten Sussex. It began posting cryptic captions. She said I'd understand one day, and bloodlines aren't always chosen. At first, people thought it was just another troll, but then came the photo, a childhood picture that looked almost eerily like Meghan herself. The same eyes, the same cheek dimples. It was uncanny enough to convince millions something bigger was going on. The story took an even darker twist when the account posted a video. It was simple, under 30 seconds, filmed against a blank wall. A young woman looked straight into the camera and said, "You always told me to stay hidden because my existence would ruin your crown." She smiled, a sly, familiar smile, and the video ended. Within hours, it spread like wildfire across every platform imaginable. People weren't just speculating anymore. They were convinced. Side-by-side comparisons dominated the internet. Analysts compared bone structure, smiles, eyes, even speech patterns. Hashtags like Meghan's secret daughter climbed to the top of global trends. As the storm raged, the palace remained silent. From their vantage point across the pond, they didn't need to lift a finger. Years of accusations and bombshells from Harry and Meghan had left the monarchy wounded, but this was karmic poetry. Imagine William sipping tea in Kensington, quietly smirking, while headlines shredded the Sussex image without the royals saying a single word. Meghan's response when it came was textbook damage control, glossy PR statements, polished to perfection, flatly denying the claims, but no emotion, no clarity, and most importantly, no proof. For her critics, silence spoke louder than denial. Even her loyal followers began questioning, filling comment sections with cutting remarks like, "If it isn't true, why not just prove it?" Meanwhile, Harry's alleged reaction grew darker. Reports claimed he stormed barefoot from their Montecito home, driving aimlessly down the coast before breaking down alone at a beach parking lot. Later, neighbors claimed they saw him wandering their gated community, hoodie pulled up, face red, refusing to speak. For a man who spent years portraying himself as the world's most protective father, the humiliation of being blindsided like this must have been unbearable. And just when it seemed things couldn't get more chaotic, another bombshell landed. An anonymous user released what they claimed was a redacted California birth certificate dated years before Meghan met Harry. The name of the mother, Rachel Markle, Meghan's real legal name. The internet erupted instantly. Was it real or a clever fake? No one could say, but the timing was enough to fan the fire into an inferno. Brands that once lined up to partner with Meghan began pulling away. Hollywood circles whispered. Netflix executives, who had banked millions on the Sussex image, reportedly grew uneasy. The aura of the power couple dimmed, replaced by a fog of suspicion. The Sussex empire, carefully built on the image of a modern family, now looked fragile, even laughable. Every family photo, every staged documentary scene, every perfectly curated Instagram post suddenly carried a shadow. As for Harry, insiders suggest he's begun reaching out to old friends he once cut off at Meghan's urging. The same friends who warned him years ago that he might not know her as well as he thought. He's allegedly asking if they'll talk, if they'll forgive, if they'll help him. Because reality is settling in. If Meghan did hide something this colossal, then Harry gave up his crown, his country, and his family for someone who never told him the whole truth. That's not just heartbreak, that's betrayal. But perhaps the most chilling part is the silence from the alleged daughter herself. After the video, nothing, not a word, not a post. Which makes everything even more suspicious. Was she silenced? Was the account a hoax designed to implode at the peak of chaos? Or is she waiting, biding her time until the perfect moment to return with proof that could obliterate the Sussex image forever? Meanwhile, Meghan's attempts at denial have only fueled suspicion. A trusted journalist, one of the last defenders of the Sussexes, accidentally fanned the flames further. In trying to protect her, they slipped and mentioned the girl in the video had no legal claim to the Sussex name. Suddenly, the internet exploded with questions. Why bring up legality if the whole thing is supposedly fabricated? The single slip sent conspiracy theories spiraling, and yet through it all, the palace said nothing. They didn't need to. Every whisper, every rumor, every unanswered question chipped away at the Sussex brand. The fairy tale they'd sold the world, modern parents, empowered woman, loving father, Montecito mansion, was unraveling thread by thread. Even if the rumor proved false, the damage was done. The image had shattered like glass, and no amount of carefully posed photographs could piece it back together. For Harry, the toll seems immeasurable. Reports describe him demanding documents, proof, anything that could quiet the noise. Meghan, for her part, allegedly refused to even entertain the demand, deflecting with accusations of victimhood. Their arguments, insiders claim, grew so heated that staff were ordered out of the house when shouting began. Imagine that, the man who abandoned his royal destiny for love, now questioning whether the woman he chose has been hiding her own royal-sized secret. And so the world waits, waiting for another post, waiting for proof, waiting for a scandal that could dwarf every royal controversy before it. Because whether true or not, this rumor has already shifted the perception of Harry and Meghan forever. What was once their greatest strength, the ability to control their narrative, has now become their downfall. They've lost control, and the internet isn't letting go. At the center of it all sits Harry, a man torn between love and loyalty, between truth and image, between the family he left behind and the one he thought he built. Tears may be just the beginning, because if the whispers prove real, the end of the Sussex Empire might already be written. And yet, despite the storm, there's an eerie calm in the silence surrounding this saga. The alleged daughter's disappearance from social media only deepened the mystery, leaving millions glued to their screens, refreshing feeds, waiting for the next move. Each passing day without a post only fuels speculation, with some insisting she's been silenced, while others believe she's gathering undeniable proof. The suspense itself has become part of the drama, pulling in even those who never followed royal gossip before. Meanwhile, public opinion has begun to fracture in ways no one expected. Some see Meghan as a woman unfairly targeted by relentless rumors, a victim of the same press she's battled for years. Others, however, view the silence and polished denials as confirmation that there's something worth hiding. The divide has created a strange battleground online, with heated debates, endless theories, and even amateur investigators trying to map out Meghan's timeline like it's an unsolved case. Hollywood and media circles are equally unsettled. Invitations have reportedly dried up, partnerships are rumored to be on pause, and insiders whisper that Meghan's once magnetic star power has dimmed under the shadow of scandal. Even those who still stand by her quietly admit that her brand has been tarnished, perhaps beyond repair. And as for Harry, every new headline and whispered rumor chips away at the very identity he fought so hard to rebuild. What comes next remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the Sussex fairy tale, carefully curated and fiercely protected, is now under siege like never before. Whether the alleged daughter resurfaces or the rumor fades into history, the damage has already been done. The world is watching, waiting, and wondering if this is the beginning of the end for Harry and Meghan, or just another chapter in a saga that refuses to end.